Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Subramaniam Maslamani. I'm a Tamil. Today my topic is Lessons Learned and Reconciliation Commission must be replaced by a United Nations Commission on Genocide and War Crimes. Why? The LLRC, as it is called, was appointed by the prime suspect in the genocide and other crimes against humanity. I think the United Nations is not so serious about genocide and war crime investigations. The acid test is, will LLRC be impartial knowing that it was appointed by the criminal himself? And unfortunately, he is the president of the nation. The problem is that the criminal has been elected as the president for his war crimes. Killing Tamils was the reason why he was elected. Besides, the members of the commissions are all Aryan, Buddhist, Sinhalese. None of them are Tamils. And accept them to be impartial goes against their very human nature. Secondly, the suspects of the genocides were also allowed to testify, but not the real victims. Thirdly, the prime suspect Mahinda Rajapaksa must testify and be cross-examined by the appropriate counsel for the victim. All these pulling wool over the people's eyes was possible when we Tamils, the ordinary people, do not express our views and concerns. In this way, we Tamils have failed in our duty to our community. But some of us, here we are, asking the world to be fair to us. We are asking the United Nations to be fair to us. We are asking the member nations of the United Nations to be fair to us. We are asking China and India to be fair to us. We are asking the educated, emancipated, enlightened elders and leaders like Nelson Mandela, Jimmy Carter, Barack Obama, and Bill Clinton to be fair to us by voicing their concerns. We Tamils all should get together and demand the LLRC is wound down, shut down, and replaced by a United Nations appointed Genocide and War Crimes Tribunal, and Mahinda Rajapaksa be brought to trial. He is the prime suspect in these crimes against humanity. If we do not stamp out this pestilence now, then this disease will spread to the other nations. We hope the Secretary General, Mr. Ban Ki-moon, take this matter very seriously, for this will be a landmark decision. This will set the pace for future conflicts. He must make very firm decisions to stamp out crimes against humanity. Human rights are the prime responsibility and purpose of the United Nations, and we hope that the Secretary General and the members will act with clear conscience in their mind. Rajapaksa is a criminal and a criminal lawyer who has become a head of a government, a combination and position that is ideal for any crimes. There is one other higher authority besides divine intervention, which is the United Nations. It must act and act firmly and forcibly to establish rules and regulations to deal with minority issues. The LLRC was originally composed of 7 members, but only 4 are now left. At least that's what we see from the pictures. There were supposed to be 2 Tamils, and they are missing 2. So this commission was doomed from the beginning. It's a farce and fake bearing Mahinda Rajapaksa's trademark. There were about 40,000 people killed in the genocide, and about 17 to 20 people of the media killed or missing. Of these 70 to 20 murders, none of them were solved. Why? Is it inefficiency or interruptions? There is something not right about the government headed by Mahinda Rajapaksa. He does not even seem to be concerned about these murders not being solved. As the president, he must be concerned about these murders not being solved. As the president, he must investigate as to why none of these have been solved. It all indicates that he is either behind these crimes or he is the criminal. Only he can help the world to know it, solve it. We cannot expect the United Nations to take much interest, for it is our business to defend democracy in Sri Lanka. It is the duty of the Sinhalese people to protests en masse as to why there is no civil administration and no accountability. The Inspector General of Police have all the time to write a book on LTTE, but no time to perform his duty entrusted with him. Mahinda Rajapaksa invited Maradan Kadavela Jinadasa alias Yakadaya to the presidential palace. Yakadaya is a convicted serial murderer, and what kind of advice he could have given Mahinda Rajapaksa? This meeting happened just prior to the genocide at Mullivaikan. Birds of the same feather flock together. The trouble in Sri Lanka not people made, but by the government. The riots against Tamils always happen at the same time all around the country, and one must wonder how can it be so well coordinated. When a government plans and executes civil rights, it is the head of the government who is the prime suspect. The violence against Tamil is never an isolated event, but an island-wide coordinated action. Repeated governments unleashed violence against Tamils to terrorize them, and when they took up arms in self-defense, they were called terrorists. State terrorism was freedom fighters. Since independence, the country has been run on a policy of racism, fanaticism, and state terrorism. It has devastated the country along with its people. Tamils are suffering along with the foolish choices made by the Sinhalese. The Tamils, about 1 million, live outside Sri Lanka and excelled very well, whereas the Sinhalese are languishing in the Middle East, working as maids and coolies. Why would a community of people put themselves through this disgrace? Just to annihilate Tamils? The Sinhalese are trying to go against nature, and they will never succeed. Mahinda Rajapaksa, along with cohorts and coyotes, are guilty of war crimes and genocide. Why and how? It is simple. When the head of the nation refuses to uphold justice, he is the prime suspect, and he is guilty of miscarriage of justice. The very purpose of a government is upholding law and justice, for that is the only purpose of an elected government, besides national security. The guillotine must fall on the head of the same way his paramilitary beheaded the people. One must pay exactly the same one extracted from others. That's not my law, but the law of the universe. So then, when the head of the people refuses to investigate the murders and other crimes, he is guilty of those crimes. Anyone who wants to challenge me, challenge my judgment and decisions are welcome to come forward. The problem in the world is not the lack of justice, but the will to enforce justice. It is not my business to. It's not my business. It's the business of the law enforcement people. The disease that started in Sri Lanka is spreading to other countries in Asia and Africa. Look, Ivory Coast. But Mr. Ban Ki-moon and his United Nations, like a house of ostriches, keep their head buried in nepotism, cronyism, and corruption. If we have to help the world, we had to clean up the United Nations of rats, rodents, and roaches. One little idea. The post of Secretary General must be an elected position, not an appointed bureaucrat. A bureaucrat is a person who works because he has to work. He is not committed to ideals. What we Tamils do is to first unite, mobilize the world powers to apply sanctions and other draconian measures to rein in this tiny nation of Sri Lanka, full of transgenerational racists and radicals. It's a disease the world has to deal with now, or they can deal with a worldwide pestilence later. I hope the world leaders come to become proactive and than procrastinating. But alas, we see Tamil people, some of them, with watering mouth when they see a few breadcrumbs falling. Those people must seek a work or a vocation that will teach them how easy it is to keep your self-esteem and earn a good living. We started as houseboys, not as top officers in some banks or somewhere, and kept our self-esteem. We want every Tamil to rise up and do something, anything to live gracefully. Making money is a simple art. We beg our Tamil people, please, please do not take your eyes off the target. Our mission and our vision of building a culture and community that our children will be fortunate to live. Let us build a community that like no other. Let us show an example to the rest of the world. There's a better way to live, a transgenerational, caring and cultivating culture. I am eternally thankful to my grandparents, 4 of them, and my parents, 2 of them, who told us and taught us what is good and what is bad. No child can be bad if you have 6 mentors. That is what this world is deficient and missing. Don't you ever lose that legacy and heritage. If you lose it, you will become another barbarian. Listen, my parents put a lot into us. Thus, we have completed our life course, chorus, ahead of time. We outran our life clock. We have more time left, and we want to help the community and the world to be a better place. We are laying the foundation for a community that will outlast eternity. But at this juncture, we are facing minor course corrections. All in all, we are progressing very well. We did not go to war to lose a war. There was no war, it was an invasion of the barbarians. But we have deployed our resources in much better investments. We are indeed advancing in a new direction. Today the community is much healthier, much wiser, and much wealthier. Thank you very much. I am Subramanian Maslamani for Voices of the Victims of Genocide in Sri Lanka.